Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today for Financial First Aid. Today, I have the pleasure of having CF Jackson. She's a content coordinator at iDefineTv. They're helping 5K entrepreneurs redefine TV globally on Roku. She wants you to join the movement. How you doing today, CF?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today. I so much appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here. And what's the name of your company?
It's iDefineTv. It came from the idea of getting into this whole world of media in terms of TV has always been dictated to us. So it came to me with I define, it was a statement. So when people say it, it's a statement to self saying I define TV because now we can define TV ourselves with this new technology of streaming and all that good stuff. So its name was iDefineTv.
Wow, neat. And so the primary focus of your company is to do what?
It's twofold, but the mission right now is to helping entrepreneurs over 5,000 to redefine television utilizing streaming technologies like Roku. So kind of like a little backtrack a little bit. Some people are like, well, they've heard of Roku, but they're not sure what it is, but they may have heard of Amazon Fire Stick or Apple TV. It's as similar as like it was like AT&T or you have your Comcast. They're in the same industry, but there's just different brands. But Roku is the actual leader. So my goal is to help entrepreneurs who have this technology that they look at it just solely for entertainment, but it's more so something you can actually look at it and where how you advance your messaging, your products and your services, because again, I define TV, now you can define TV, and helping them to learn how to record and create videos easily. Don't have to have this robust, massive team anymore because now things have changed a lot. So teaching you how to create videos, how to get on TV, but in a nutshell, how to go from YouTube to TV easily and simplistically.
Oh, wow. Okay. I like that idea. So that means I can be on TV, right?
And you're smart, you got to get something you need to share, and people need to hear what you're doing in terms of helping people with financing, about how to get to the next level and how to take care of their finances, because no matter where we are in life, that is something that's the foundation of our homes and in our businesses is our financial first.
That's what I'm hoping to do. Okay, that's great. Now, I'm a little bit computer savvy, but very little bit. So what would, let's say a person like me would come to you and say, okay, CF, I want to be on TV. How would that look? What would that look like?
If you're a beginner, and I say with beginners, is that you can start with where you are. Most times people think they need a massive team. Again, I say you don't need all that stuff anymore. We have these webcams. We have our smartphones, and most everything we have now records at an HD quality, high definition at 720. So you have either of these pieces of equipment. That's where you start with what you already currently have. Then you have to simply decide, what do I want to share with the people? I tell people, many years ago when I started iDefineTv, I had partnered with an actual networking group here in Atlanta, one of the biggest ones here at the time. And I started the Small Business Spotlight. 2 minutes, all I asked people for 2 minutes to spotlight your business. And people were just flabbergasted what to say. They would do their mission statement. They would try to do a commercial. And I'm looking like, no, it's about you sharing some type of tip or strategy of who you are and why people should come to you, whatever your actual industry is. And that's the same thing, is defining something that you want to position yourself as the authority and carry that person from the beginning to end and say, oh, I need to know about that, or I need to tell somebody about that. So just defining what kind of content you want to share, where you want to take them at the end of that, and record it. And at that point, you say, see if I want to put it on iDefineTv, determine where you want to be in terms of memberships, how often you want to put out content. Select one and you start uploading, and that's it, Vera. It's not even that difficult. It's similar to YouTube. We're just taking it from YouTube to TV.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. I like that idea. And what got you started on your journey of entrepreneurship? Like, why did you transition from, well, let's give people an idea of what your background is before I go to that question. What was your background before you started doing this?
I initially went to school for criminal justice. And my goal was to be more of an investigative researcher. I love to do that kind of stuff. Wasn't trying to be a cop, wasn't trying to get shot at, so that was not my goal. But you know, and then I ended up getting into technology in terms of telecom. So I was in telecom from like from what, 96 all the way up to 2008. So I was in telecom and various ways of telecom. And I enjoyed it, but it had became somewhat stagnant a little bit, not as joyful. And back in 2003, I had taken a nap on a Saturday and I awakened with a whole story synopsis and a title in my head. Because I'm not really a reader, I'm more of a movie buff. I said, my goodness, that's really not too often you wake up with a full-fledged synopsis and a title. It's really rare. And so I said, let me just call my mom. I told my mom about it. She's like, that's pretty cool. And so she wasn't thinking nothing about it. And a friend at the time, she said, oh, you ought to write a book. And I'm like, I don't read books. I read nonfiction than I do fiction, but my fiction comes from the film. I said, oh, write the book. But at the beginning of the year, I started the year of purpose. What's my purpose? So I'm sitting there on the sofa like, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And I just keep on hearing, just write the freaking book. So I get up, went to my computer and just put some typing away. And I just started from there learning. And within like 4 to 5 months, I had wrote a time novel titled Won't Be Denied. And that was the whole scenario. And it was just fun. So that's how I got myself started. And then I needed to get it out there. And I started in the traditional way, looking for agent and publishing companies. And I would get those letters back. They would traditionally call them rejection letters in the industry, in the literary world, but I call them just not interested. They weren't interested at the time. So I said, you know what? I'm done with this nonsense. So I started my own publishing company to publish my work. So that's how I got into the whole entrepreneur world, writing a novel and said, I'm going to do it myself, and created my own publishing company.
Oh, nice. Now, is that publishing company still in existence?
It is. I mean, I initially thought I'm gonna do other people, and I had helped someone else. We're still friends today. I said, okay, I can help you lay out your book. And when I started doing his book, and I said, I learned at that very moment in time, Vera, I said, some things are meant just for you. And so I finished his project. I said, this is not for other people. This is just for, I'm done with this nonsense. So I was done with that, but we're still friends today. And he learned how to do it. And I tell you, that guy, I don't know how many books he's published since I taught him how to do it himself. So he is like I came to the word, but he runs with it. I'm very impressed with him though. He's really good.
Oh, that's good. All right. So the publishing piece didn't work so well. You said, let me transition to something else. What else did you decide to do from there?
So when I got into it, being that I wasn't where I'm now, in terms of I was shy, didn't like being in front of the camera. Well, then even this reading or being heard at that time, because at that time, one of my, and I still have that challenge at times, is that my rate of speech is very expedient. And so therefore I heard it all the time. So I didn't want to be heard, but I had these books now. I had thousands of books at the house. So now I invested some money. I need to get this money back. And so I started selling the book, but then I learned about what I didn't know about online. I went to an event and I mainly went to go see Les Brown and Stedman Graham. Those are the only two names I knew in the whole bill for that 3-day weekend. But I learned about affiliate marketing, opt-ins, and autoresponders. I'm like, what is this stuff? And so what I knew and started learning and discovering, I started teaching it to other authors and writers, because they're more creative. A lot of people are more creative. I think I have both sides of the brains, but if I can break it down simplistic for others, I'm gonna share with them. And I started teaching others and helping them do the web development. And I kind of started doing that, got into the marketing world. So it came kind of like twofold, where I was able to help others and help them along the way.
Oh, nice. And then what made you decide on this medium, Define TV piece?
Back in 2013, I've always been, like I say, I'm a movie buff. I've always loved film and TV. And I'm not sure for you, Vera. I mean, I want to be on TV. I'm not sure if I would be a good actress or anything like that. But somewhere in the midst of it, I want to be on TV, maybe just a background somebody on the movies. But I always liked how production was. And my mom was the first person I always video. I had got my camcorder many years ago, my first like VHS, little mini VHS, and I would record her all the time and family events. But then when he said, yo, you can, when somebody told me about the Roku, I had never heard of Roku. I'm like, okay. And I thought first, like most people who did today, I wouldn't got a Sony. I did my research and Sony was like, okay, it's a household name. I grew up with Sony. And I was complacent. I wasn't content. I was complacent with having, I got cable and this cool little device, working, watch more of, it wasn't that much, but I just thought it was cool. I'm a little techie nerd. I said, this is pretty cool. And then 6 months later, a friend said to me, yo, sis, you can get on TV with this Roku. I'm like, Roku? I'm still trying to get on the Sony. I couldn't find anything with Sony, but then I found out, finally got a Roku. My mind was just blown away that they were like night and day. All this content, all this information. I said to myself, like, wow, as an author, I know as an entrepreneur, we're always looking to be everywhere. This is a new way of helping people like myself get on TV, because here in Atlanta, it can cost you like $500 just for 30 minutes on a Tuesday. And you got to do that over and over and over and over again. So that's like 500 to drop, let alone with production. I can help others. And that's how it came about. Just like, this is pretty cool. Now I've helped people from far as Sweden, Africa, Barbados, UK, United States get on television. And I think it's pretty cool.
Wow, I love that. That is fantastic. All right. So when you left the corporate world from doing what you were doing, of course you were going to have some challenges. What kind of made you stay motivated and stay focused on moving forward with what you started to do?
That's a good question. I had a good support. When I first started, I was, of course, home all the time. So I forced myself, again, to get outside the box. I joined a mastermind group. I said, I need to get out the house. So I said, I joined them. At that point, I think I went to meetup.com. I went to meetup.com to find groups. I said, I need to find something to get out of the house and meet people, because I'm here all the time alone. And so I went to a mastermind group and didn't know who was going to be there. I think I knew one guy. I knew him from one event, and then we kind of met again on this online course. And I got there, and this is a group of guys. All these guys were there, you know. And here I am, and I'm like, okay, it's once a month. It's like, and I couldn't stand like, oh, I gotta go downtown, all this traffic. But I forced myself to go, and that was my outage. And it became a nice group of guys and family. They took me on as their little bit sis, you know. They beat me up and all that kind of stuff. But they were encouraged, you go down there and get that support. So you got to have that. I had that support outside of myself. Mother is very supportive. Family is very supportive. You know, and of course, like anything else, you kind of challenge along the way. But it's just having that group of people around you and keep your eyes on the prize of what you like the most. The challenges are going to be there, like any job. If you like it enough, you'll find the upswing to it, or you'll focus on the downswing of it. So I like to focus on the upswing of what the positives are.
Wow, great. And it's so nice that, you know, I think the service that you provide is so wonderful in that it can help people with their marketing, but it also can help them with, you know, just getting their message out, which is really very worthwhile. Does it feel somewhat gratifying to be able to do that?
It does. Like I said, it's when it first happened, so funny when I first started with it, and I did some pre-sale. They said always do your pre-sales, you know, that helps you along the way. And I did some pre-sale. My first artist I really touched to was music artists. So I started with them because I thought to myself, who would be a good artist of people who I like independent music artists and films. That's my little corner there. And so my first one was Belinda, her husband. They're in Sweden. And so she had already invested, and we had a good conversation. And there I am looking at this whole channel thing, how to work it out and all this. And I was getting frustrated. And I hear in the back of my mind, thank you so much, CF. This is so great. Like, she had already paid already. You know, I've probably been done with this thing, but that in itself was another motivation too, because you already had somebody who was inside the vision as well. And that helps too. Sometimes if you're on it by yourself and there's no one else believing in the vision, it's easy to kind of cast it away. So it helps to have someone else who's part of your team, kind of like she's not part of the team, but she was part of the team because she bought into the vision and the dream as well. Mm-hmm. And that one itself was just like, oh my goodness. So that was kind of the challenge of that, is getting started, but it was worth it.
Now you're an old pro at it. You can put up those videos and line stuff up, right? It's real easy now. And that's a good thing. You know, you can get discouraged, but once you start doing it, it's like anything else. You know, you start exercising that muscle and you get to be good at it. That's nice. Well, so what would you say to you know, a new entrepreneur that's trying to find his or her way? What advice would you give to him or her, you know, right now in this kind of, it's not really COVID anymore, but it is still COVID. You know, we still have that kind of thing going on with that. What advice would you give them in this time of post-COVID or COVID itself time?
I would say if I had this book beforehand, I would tell everybody to go get the book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Not only read it, have your notepad and answer every question within the book. By the time you finish with that book, you have a complete outline for that particular business idea that you have. That
Wow.
was one of the most eye-opening books. And then when I had switched on from what I was doing to iDefineTv and redid it, it gave me now, it's like you can read it each time and really, and I had another aha, like, oh, I read it differently with different perspective because I had evolved and grown from that previous time. So that was one thing I would say, and pretty much think about what you're doing. It's going to always, not say always, but most times you're going to pivot. It's going to breathe life into something else. So you don't have to be static in that thing. Just keep on moving and growing. But that E-Myth is the bomb diggity book.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love it. So now, usually during my podcast, I always ask my guests to give me, 3 things that will encourage, inspire, and motivate my listeners, because that's really part of the focus of financial first aid. And so what would be one of the things that you would tell an entrepreneur to educate him or her?
Well, I guess to kind of piggyback on what I said, to buy the E-Myth, get that book and follow it. But
That's great.
also as an education, well as I like to say, don't try to do everything out the gate because you can hold on too long. So if you can start getting and outsourcing immediately on things so that you don't feel like you got to do it yourself, that will give you more breathing room in that retrospect. And do events. Make sure you're around like-minded people.
Okay, wonderful. All right. And then in terms of inspiration.
Inspiration that comes from
Within.
yeah, I'm not done, and I'm not really, done with it myself, but kind of be inspired and looking at what you've done. So continue to be inspired by yourself. I myself on Sundays, I look at things on YouTube or on TV or programming that's inspiring, that people are doing things. And that's really inspiring me, like, wow, they're doing it, or a kid is doing this, or someone's doing that, even an elder person. It's all around, but focus on the stuff somebody today is don't focus on that stuff that's not serving you. Keep your eyes on the prize. And therefore, so you don't get derailed so quickly. Because you focus on the other stuff, you'll be there forever and it's gonna slow you down. So you stay inspired and just continue to focus on what you've done and count your winnings on a daily before you go to bed.
Beautiful information. That's great. I like that. And then finally, after you educate them and inspire them, what would you give them to motivate them?
I've learned something recently, Vera, that if something has to motivate you, that means you're toiling at it. It's having to force you. So it's mostly better to be inspired because now it's coming from inside yourself. So I don't really have, I say, motivation. But if you're inspired, you're already there. If you're being motivated, that means you need to pause back and step back until you are inspired. Because when you're inspired, you're going to do it with more of a good ear and more of a great spirit to doing it.
Wow, I love that. That's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So to get in touch with you, to get you to help me and any of my listeners to get on TV, because that's what I'm going to definitely connect with you so I can do that. How would they reach out to you?
Jump over to iDefineTv.com. That's www.iDefineTv.com. Jump over there, find the website. You'll find a lot more information over there, and it's a great way too to find all the contact information as well.
Oh, right. Way to go. Is this type of thing expensive, or is it something reasonable for people to be able to promote their business?
Like I said, it's very much more affordable. Like I said beforehand, this here in the Atlanta market, just one market, it's like $500 for every time you did a show. You start as little as $200 a month, and you're not broadcasting just locally, but you're national and you're global. So that was the reason why starting this whole trajectory is looking at how can you do it in a way that's going to give people a wider reach. And that's why it's like so affordable, starting as little as $200 a month, and you're getting that national and global exposure.
Beautiful. All right. So I'm going to be known internationally, right?
That's right.
I love it. I love it. So thank you so much, CF, for being on my podcast. It was such a wonderful interview. One thing though, I do want the people to know what your initials stand for, CF, please.
Oh, constantly focused.
Ah! I'm so glad that you said that, because I know the reason why you use your initials is because it's hard to say your name, but we're just going to leave you at Constantly Focused Jackson. Okay. Have a good one. I look forward to seeing you and working with you in the very near future.
I appreciate it. Is it okay for me to share with them a free tool that they can download and get some free tips as well?
Yes.
Feel free from some quick, easy video tips. Go to 5tools.iDefineTv.com, and it's some great little free tools you can actually help you along the way with your video creation.
Okay, and that's 5 tools.
The number 5tools.iDefineTv.com.
All right, great. All right. I hope everybody that hears this will use that to help them get started with marketing their business. All right, we go. Thank you, CF. Constantly Focused Jackson. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.